Can you feel the momentum building? We're at Revelation chapter 15. Just 7 more chapters to go. Some of you have been waiting for chapter 15, haven't you? After all, it's in 15 that we're finally introduced to the 7 bowls. The catastrophic seals and the trumpets were just a warm-up, preliminaries to what we find here. But of course, before we get to it, John wants to direct our attention elsewhere, to a scene that is connected almost in every way to something mentioned previously in the narrative. Now, for starters, verse 1, John says, I saw in heaven another great and marvelous sign. 7 angels with the 7 last plagues. Last because with them, God's wrath is completed. In case you've forgotten, and how could you? It was only 7 months ago that I covered it. In Revelation 12:1, John saw a great sign appeared in heaven. A woman clothed with sun, with the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars on her head. Then he saw a great sign. Now another great and marvelous sign. Chapters 12 through 14 make up one section. This great sign marks out the beginning of another. But it's not entirely new. The theme of Exodus again rises to the forefront of this section. Not least of all in the mention of the 7 plagues in verse 1. But also how those 7 plagues in the form of the bowls are played out in the chapters to follow. We got sores, blood, darkness. You'll see when you get there. In the meantime, in verse 2, John tells us, and I saw what looked like a sea of glass glowing with fire, and standing beside the sea, those who had been victorious over the beast and its image and over the number of its name. They held harps given them by God. Here again is something connecting back to a previous aspect of John's vision way back in chapter 4, where John recounted for us what he saw before God's glorious throne. In chapter 4, verse 6, also in front of the throne, there was what looked like a sea of glass, clear as crystal. Ages ago, when we looked at that text, I mentioned how in ancient literature, the sea was traditionally seen as a frightening, uncontrollable sign of chaos. You don't have to go much further than Acts chapter 27 to see why. And yet in Revelation, the tumultuous sea is portrayed as still and calm, as crystal. Even the chaotic elements that seem to oppose God are brought under control and into his service. The scene is a peaceful one, a celebratory one. The chaotic elements have been stilled and God's people have been victorious over the beast. Like Exodus 15, this is a good time for a song. We'll look at the connection between those two next time. But amid the celebration, we should not forget the struggle. Yes, God's people have been victorious, but Revelation 12 reminds us of the manner through which victory comes. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Victory in Revelation comes at a cost, one that requires of us to choose love for the Lamb over love of our lives. In our day, we want celebration. We want to stand by that sea victoriously and receive our harps. But it will not come without cost or struggle. The Christian life is not intended to be an easy one. But as the witness of Revelation makes clear, it is intended to be worth it. Have a great week.